The Great Replacement, the conspiracy. There's actually a conspiracy called the Great Replacement. It's not a conspiracy. Conspiracy theories are basically spoiler alerts. It's, when somebody says it's a conspiracy theory, wait 6 months, it'll be reality. That's basically what it is. The Great Replacement continues to be mocked as a conspiracy theory, but we're seeing an active agenda to destroy both the United States and Europe from the inside, not the outside. Everybody's expecting a full-on war to come in. There's going to be wars later, but as far as taking it down, they're working it on the inside. First, we're seeing thousands, and I mean thousands, of fit young males going by boat into Europe. This has been in discussion for years. It is kicked up drastically recently. Like I said, it's been going on for years, but starting in 2021, it has an extreme increase in numbers. Everybody wants to talk about how it's asylum seekers, the refugees. There's no women and children on these boats. There's no old men on these boats. There's none of that. It is young, fit males. We're seeing well over 500,000 armed fighters within Germany alone, which the government claims to be asylum seekers. How do we know that they're armed fighters? Border police are confirming this by saying that these are fighters and they're coming across with weapons, loaded weapons. These are not poor, old women or children. These are young, fit male fighters coming over with weapons. And this is well over 500,000 in just Germany alone. This isn't counting all of the other European states and countries out there. They are basically infiltrating, getting set up and ready. These are Muslims. These are Muslim men. Now, we're seeing a similar thing in the United States, but a bit more hidden if you're not looking for it. There's been hundreds of planes coming in from the Muslim countries in the Middle East, and they are landing in the United States. They're going back and forth, coming from the Middle East, loading up the United States with Muslim men. I know a lot of people are thinking, what about the southern border? Well, the southern border is happening too. But just like Europe, we're seeing a boatload, a plane load, however you want to put it, of Muslim men infiltrating both Europe and the United States. And to add to that, just recently, Chuck Schumer has come out saying that America is not reproducing on its own and we must rely on illegals. He said refugees or whatever fancy word that they want to put on there. But basically, we must rely on illegals to fill the worker position. So he's blaming the drop in workers and the economy because America is not reproducing like they used to. We'll get to that in a second. South American illegals are who he's talking about. Just like Europe, it's fit young males crossing the border by the thousands a day. We're not seeing old, poor women, children crossing the border. No, we're seeing young, fit males. So we've got young, fit Muslim males going into Europe. We've got young, fit Muslim men getting planed into the United States. And we've got young, fit men coming up from the southern border. The WEF has openly spoken of no borders and the removal of independent nations. We know this. They even mentioned in a video how people need to start getting more acclimated for foreigners to be coming into their countries. All over the United States and Europe, foreigners are beginning to overtake the nationally born citizens. They are creating an interchangeable army of not only workers but soldiers. Whether these useless idiots, the illegals, know it or not. I believe that the Muslim men know it because as far as the Muslims, according to the Quran, their goal is to convert or kill by any means necessary. That means convert to Islam or be killed. Brute strength, false peace, or infiltration is how they're going to do it. We know about the false peace stuff that they're supposedly working out with Israel. We talked about that a while ago. Brute strength, we've been seeing that in the Middle East for years and years and years and years and years. We've been seeing that. But we're seeing the infiltration. They're coming in from the they're coming in and they're going to be doing work from the inside. This is the great replacement. It is happening. The great replacement, whether you want to admit it or not, is happening right now. Most look at these as just a border crisis, but this is an active takeover and a demolition of both United States and Europe. And it's being planned, it's being put together, it's being funded by these people because that's what they want. The WEF has said this is what they want. It's been going on for years, but like I said, it's gained serious momentum in 2021. Like I said, we've seen it for years, but just recently, the past couple of years, it's really started to gain momentum. So the question is, if you're the great replacement, how do you diminish the population that you're trying to replace? How do you decrease the population? We're seeing that in the U.S., Europe, and even places like China and Japan and Korea. We're seeing reports all over the board about reduction of population. Let's focus on the U.S. on this aspect for a second. One of the ways that you decrease population is through the alphabet agenda. You use the alphabet agenda by brainwashing people into unbiblical relationships that don't reproduce. You begin to reduce the population. So if you get a bunch of people to switch to unbiblical relationships, you cannot produce offspring. You can't produce children. So the alphabet agenda is fully a part of that. Trans agenda, the gay agenda, all that stuff. That is how you use it. And then, of course, you get rewarded for things like the San Francisco transgender UBI bill, which has just been introduced, where if you're a part of the alphabet community, if you're transgender, even something as being classified as a tomboy, you can sign up for San Francisco's UBI system, where they will pay you $1,200 a month just because you're transgender. That's right. So we've got the alphabet agenda that's a part of that. Another aspect of it is inflation. Inflation is actually a part of this. If you create an economies where it's expensive to thrive, expand, and reproduce, people aren't going to have kids. If everything is too expensive, you're either going to reduce how many kids you're going to have, or you're just not going to have any at all. So inflation is part of that. Another aspect of it is destroying the patriarchy order, God's order of family. That's how you destroy it. So getting women to take over roles designed for men is part of it. So if you get women out of the structure that God has created, and the women empowerment type of stuff, and you put them into the workforce, you put them into positions where they're out of the house, they're not taking the mother perspective, they're not having kids, because women empowerment, I'm going to work, financial needs, it pushes back either the timing of having kids, it pushes back how many kids you are going to have, or they're just not going to have kids altogether. So the women taking the jobs, that job has now filled that position. So it's destroying the patriarchy, getting women out of the role that God assigned for them. It has nothing to do with value. Women and men have the same value, just in different areas. We have different roles, but that is part of it. And then the last one, I'm sure you can pretty much guess it, but I can't go into details about it because we're on YouTube, and it involves vitamins. It involves vitamins, and this has been proven. These vitamins have been proven to nuke the reproductive systems of men and women, both. There's a lot of reports out there. I can't go into detail about it on here. You can check it out if you want to. I'm talking about vitamins. Check out what vitamin I'm talking about.